2-0 win over Hibs. Now, one of the top performers against Rangers was Anton Rogan, who was a surprise call-up for the Ibrox match, following a dispute over his contract. And a man many forecast will be playing his football elsewhere this season is in fact an ever-present. Dariusz Jakinowski plays his 8th consecutive game this afternoon and has 5 goals to his credit. For both clubs, who are on 3 points apiece after poorish starts to the season, but the good news for both managers is that both are showing signs of improvement. So David McPherson, who missed the last 2 games, back to lead Hearts this afternoon. Looking for Robertson, in steps White. Collins and Craig Levine sweeping up at the back. Elliott, good positive header. Celtic captain Paul McStay, away by McLaren. Jakinowski well challenged. Bolton battling for possession. And Wright eventually doing well, running into a bit of trouble, but conceding the throw-in is Jakinowski. Bolton, good play by John Collins, and a goal for Celtic, and it's Joe Miller. Four minutes gone here at Parkhead. Great ball by John Collins, and Joe Miller scores his 3rd goal of the season, and what an important one for Celtic. John Cahoon trying to find Robertson, away by White. John Collins. And Andy Walker fouled. McLaren the culprit. So just over 10 minutes played, and Celtic leading Hearts by 1-0. Rogan forward to Jakinowski. Nice turn by the Polish striker. So Jakinowski trying to find the opening. Miller racing in ahead of Foster. That's good work by the Celtic player. Jakinowski. Miller does well again. A difficult ball to keep in play. Great play by Miller. Headed on by Andy Walker. Well, that was excellent play by Celtic. Joe Miller showing tremendous skills, delivering the cross, and a good effort by Andy Walker. In comes McStay. He's well challenged by McKinley. And Miller winning the throw-in for Celtic. So we're midway through the first half, Celtic leading by 1-0 and winning themselves a free kick. Dangerous situation this for Hearts. Derek White going forward along with Paul Elliott. Miller with the cross, a testing one for Henry Smith, but he falls to the ground as he's challenged by Paul Elliott. Really an accidental clash. Billy McNeil in conversation with first-team coach Tommy Craig, and he'll be a lot happier with this Celtic performance so far this afternoon. Well, it was Joe Miller who provided the cross. Smith keeping his eye on the ball. Elliott coming in, and an accidental flash. Happily for Hearts, Henry Smith now back on his feet. Craig Levine looking for Foster. Elliott there again for Celtic. Peter Grant, cut out by Tosh McKinley, gives it away though to Joe Miller, who's looking very hungry for possession this afternoon. Good play again by Miller. Delivering the cross, headed away by Craig Levine. Paul McStay for Celtic. John Collins, a bit of a mix-up there, but Celtic retaining possession. Fulton's there, he's well challenged. Peter Grant backing up. Joe Miller does well again. Oh, lovely play by Celtic. Through looking for Walker, and that was well cut out by Craig Levine. Peter Grant forcing the ball out of play for the throw-in to Hearts. Tosh McKinlay finding Kirkwood. Well, the game's gone a bit flat at the moment. Good turn by Dariusz Jakinowski. Gets away from Levine. Taking on McPherson. Still Jakinowski. Oh, brilliant skills by the Polish international striker. Delivering the cross, and it's well taken at his near post by Henry Smith. More delightful play from Celtic, and this is certainly shaping as the best performance of the season to date. Well, you've got to give credit to McPherson because he stuck all the way with Jakinowski. But lovely close control and getting in the cross. Here comes Celtic again, and it's Fulton breaking on the left, looking around for some support. Jakinowski is there. Well, that's cut out by Kirkwood. The ball forward to John Robertson. Wayne Foster, Cahoon on the right. A switch of play now to Jimmy Sanderson. Better play this by Hearts. Forward to Foster, who's onside. And the ball spinning off the head of Derek White and behind for the corner to Hearts. David McPherson going into the penalty area. Levine, well, he scored with a header last week against Hibs, but he can't get to that one. And it's Celtic on the counter-attack. It's Jakinowski. Celtic players pouring forward out of defence. Played into the path of Joe Miller. He's got Walker in the middle, Andy Walker. And the ball going behind for the goal kick. Well, a classic counter-attack by Celtic. Hearts had the corner kick. Celtic breaking out of defence to great effect. That was a fine cross-field pass to Miller, and Walker just failing to connect properly. Elliott charging in, getting the ball forward, away from Robertson. McPherson for Hearts to Sanderson. Oh, trouble here for Hearts. Paul McStay racing through. Oh, marvellous save by Henry Smith. That's fine play by the Celtic captain. The ball played out of defence. McStay pouncing on it. He had Walker inside, forcing his way forward, delivering a great shot, and that was well stopped by Smith. Good touch on by Cahoon to Robertson. Jimmy Sanderson releasing the ball into the path of Cahoon. And down he goes, and the free kick against Anton Rogan. Rogan protesting his innocence, but referee Bobby Tate well up with the play. Cahoon racing on to the long ball, the challenge going in, and the feet taken away from Cahoon. McPherson in there again, he can be so dangerous at these set pieces. And Hearts really need someone up there to challenge Elliott in the air. Kirkwood, away by Rogan. Sanderson. Oh, and a great effort by Jimmy Sanderson. Just inches past Bonner's left-hand post. So the free kick delivered by Kirkwood. Right across the face of goal, away by Anton Rogan. And the first-time shot left there by John Robertson and almost deceiving Pat Bonner. Miller enjoying himself out there this afternoon. Good play again. Turning McKinlay time and again, but just overdoing it. Joe Miller. Good interception by Grant. Paul McStay. Forward to Walker. Back to McStay. Jakinowski. Well, he can't quite believe it. Gary Jakanovski, 5 goals so far this season. What a chance there for number 6. Good play by Paul McStay, combining well with Andy Walker. And there was Jakanovski, but well, pushing it high over the bar. Collins forward to Jakanovski, but there in fact goes the half-time whistle. And there's little Joe Miller, the man who scored Celtic's goal after just 4 minutes. John Collins popped up on the left, provided the cross, and Miller drilled the ball into the back of the net. A fine first half for Celtic. The half-time score here at Parkhead. Celtic after the first half-time team talk by Joe Jordan, and I'm quite sure the message from Joe would be to get the ball into the feet of the likes of Foster and John Robertson, not to mention John Cahoon, in the hope they can unsettle the Celtic defence. Jakanovski. Good play by Jakanovski. Given forward by McStay. Claims for handball against Craig Levine. Referee waving play on. Hearts breaking forward. Good play by Sanderson. Finding John Cahoon. Celtic defenders racing back. John Cahoon for Hearts. Going on the outside of Derek White. Still Cahoon. Comes down and the corner kick awarded to Hearts. Good positive play by John Cahoon, taking on the defender. Challenge going in. Anton Rogan for Celtic. Away by McPherson, but straight into the path of Paul McStay. Miller's breaking in the right. Jakanovski through the middle. Great run by Miller. Inside the penalty area. Flipping it forward. Away though by McPherson. A good break forward. McStay reading it well. Into the path of Joe Miller. Away by McPherson. Let's have the free kick. Grant and Foster in a real tussle. Foster delivering the cross, and that's well taken by Pat Bonner. That was a very awkward ball indeed. Well, for the first time in the match, Wayne Foster showing his pace, getting away from his marker. And he hit a very difficult ball for the goalkeeper. He does well against Grant. Grant has had the measure of the Hearts strikers. Hitting the ball, it takes an awkward bounce there, and that's well taken by Pat Bonner. Person a long one forward. Derek White's clearance, catching John Robertson. That really was a sore one. Robertson flat out. He took the full weight of Derek White's clearance. Joe Jordan looking on anxiously, and Ian Ferguson, the former Dundee United and Rangers player, about to come into the fray. Such a simple incident, really. Ian Ferguson coming on now. Person forward for Hearts to Wayne Foster. John Cahoon providing the cross, and an easy one for Pat Bonner. Forward to Fulton. Jerry Creaney getting his first touch, leaving it now to Joe Miller. Good play again by Miller, inside the penalty area. Miller! And well taken by Henry Smith. Oh, what a game this little fella's having this afternoon. Scored the goal after just 4 minutes of the first half, and he really has caused the Hearts defence all kinds of problems. Tosh McKinley's been at the receiving end of most of it. This time it's McLaren and McKinley trying to close in. Great play, great change of direction by Miller, and providing the shot. John Cahoon. Away by Elliott. Cahoon coming in again. Did well there, but Collins stepping in for Celtic. Forward to Rogan, just fails to keep it in play. Just over 65 minutes played, and Celtic leading Hearts by a goal to nil. Rogan for Celtic. Wilton leaving it to Collins. That's a good ball forward for Jerry Creaney. Playing there that he'd used an arm to control the ball. Levine signalling, but the referee waving play on still. Creaney. Not a bad effort by the Celtic youngster. And that draws applause from the Celtic supporters. Well, they certainly looked a touch of the arm. The referee allowing him to go on. Has the confidence to take on Levine and drive the ball forward. White for Celtic. A high one played through looking for Creaney. Here's Joe Miller reading it well. Miller, he must start. On the last minute challenge going in by McPherson. Still Celtic. Abid Jakinovski. And a good save by Henry Smith. Well, great play again by Joe Miller. Jakinovski almost tying it up for Celtic. And Miller read this situation so well. It was a high, awkward ball. He just times it perfectly. Nips in. Gets away from Levine, and McPherson did really well. He just got the merest touch. Oh, that would surely have been goal number 2 for Celtic. Foster. Sanderson. Well cut out by Anton Rogan. Creaney getting the touch to Joe Miller, who's on the left now. Still Miller driving the ball forward. Oh, fine shot. And a good save. Well, confidence is a great thing in football, and this little man has plenty of it this afternoon. Cutting away from McLaren. A look up towards goal, and a fine effort. Cahoon and McLaren combining. White's there as well. Back to McLaren. Better play this by Hearts. Forward to Foster. Running into trouble. And Peter Grant providing the cover. Joe Miller forward to Darius Jakinovski. Miller taking on McKinley again. Sending the ball through to Jakinovski. He delivers a cross. Creaney! Oh, great goal by the Celtic substitute. And just look at the delight on his face. Joe Miller again, the tormentor of Hearts. A great ball through to Jakinovski. He does well to get away from Levine, and there's Creaney rising above the ball. And that's a wonderful goal by the Celtic youngster. Well, no doubt about the man of the match. Joe Miller scoring the first goal, having a hand in the second one. A great through pass to Darius Jakinovski. He delivered the cross. Another chance for Celtic! Oh, yes! Great play again by Celtic, and Jerry Creaney was involved in that one again. John Collins had stumbled. He got back to his feet, played the ball through to Creaney, who found a bit of space. He provided the cross, and that was Miller to slam the ball into the back of the net to make it 3-0 to Celtic. Sanderson leaving it to George Wright and winning the corner kick. Well, Hearts will be hoping to take some consolation from what's been a pretty miserable afternoon for them. Goalkeeper Henry Smith taking a severe knock in the first half, and then John Robertson stretchered off in the second. Cahoon with the corner, headed on by Foster, the chance there, and the header going in from McLaren. Just couldn't get enough power into it to bother Pat Connor. John Cahoon, not a happy return to Parkhead for him today. The touch on by Foster, the downward header. They've been getting the touch, Miller still snapping away at their heels. McStay, forward to Miller. Jakinovski trying to find the opening. Oh, the ball coming off the bar. That was a magnificent effort by Dariusz Jakinovski. Again, Joe Miller was involved. Jakinovski making the opening for himself, getting away from McPherson and rattling the crossbar. Referee again checking his watch. And there in fact goes the final whistle. Well, what an afternoon it's been for that man, Joe Miller. He opened the scoring after 4 minutes, drilling the ball into the back of the net after the cross had been provided by John Collins. Celtic had to wait quite a while for the second goal, but substitute Jerry Queenie delightfully headed the ball high into the net, and Miller was involved there along with Jakinovski. And goal number 3 coming again from Miller, with Queenie setting it up for the Celtic winger. So an afternoon of some joy here to the